Please welcome JFN President Andrés Spokoiny.
Thank you, and welcome. I'm going to say it again because I love saying it. Welcome to the biggest ever JFN conference, and this amazing turnout is great. It's great for JFN, but most importantly, it's great that there's so many people, so many new faces that are discovering the joy and the importance of network philanthropy. You see, everything that happens in a peer network is peer-driven. So if we as a network reach this point, it's because of you, because of the work you've been doing, because of your engagement with the network and with each other, and with the commitment that you made to be here, to be present, to come to sessions, to present, to speak, to sponsor events. So thank you all very, very much. This conference is about understanding how philanthropy can change the world. It's about doing good, but doing it well. It's about doing good together and getting better and better at doing good. More than anything, this conference is about learning, it's about listening, it's about expanding our horizons, about enriching our ideas, but most importantly, it's about action. The Mishnah says that learning is important only when it leads to action. And that's what we want to achieve. What's important is not what happened in these 2.5 days. What's important is what you're going to bring home and carry on throughout the year. I'm excited and I'm humbled to be here with all of you, but I'm also excited and humbled to have my two predecessors in the job among us today, Evan Mendelsohn and Mark Charendorf. And if as a network we are where we are today, is because of your leadership and your inspiration. So thank you. And if we talk about visionary leaders, there are two giants of the field of Jewish philanthropy who are leaving their jobs this year. Although, thanks God, they're not leaving the field of Jewish philanthropy. They are Jeff Solomon and Chip Edelsberg. And we're very, very honored to have them here today. Jeff, you are universally recognized as the Dean of Jewish Philanthropy. Few people, not only in the field, but in the world, can rival with you in wisdom, in intelligence, in menschlichkeit, and in commitment. To me and to many others, Jeff is a friend and a mentor, and I feel incredibly blessed to have him. He has enriched my life, and he's continuing to doing so, and he's been an indefatigable engine of JFN. Jeff is finishing his job with the ACVP after 19 years of outstanding service. And the way in which ACVP spent down in the last year is another example of caring and professionalism, a befitting closing for a foundation that transformed Jewish life in this country and around the world. Chip will be leaving his role as CEO of the Jim Joseph Foundation. And Chip, your contribution to the field of Jewish philanthropy has been beyond measure. It can be said, without exaggeration, that no other person contributed more to professionalize and create standards for Jewish philanthropy in our field. Until, under your leadership, the Jim Joseph Foundation became really the gold standard in strategic philanthropy and in professional Jewish philanthropy. But Chip, you're also an inspiration to all of us because of your determination to always plow ahead, no matter how hard the challenge, personal or professional. Chip, it's a pleasure and an honor to count myself among your friends and colleagues. So please, Chip and Jeff, stand up and receive the recognition of the community. There is Chip. Thank you from all of us. Now, thank you. Now, it's my job now to frame and introduce the next session, which is about, we have to change a little bit the tone here, we're gonna get serious. It's about polarization and the loss of civil discourse in the Jewish community. And it is a session that is as necessarily as is truly painful to have. Respect and disagreement historically has been a major part of who we are as a people. We taught the world that the absolute truth belongs only to God, and until the Messiah comes, we need to live in a world of partial and relative truth. We are the people that glorify argument and that think that disagreements are actually a way to sharpen our understanding and refine our moral compass. The richest time in Judaism were where we argued respectfully, like in the times of the Talmud, that is nothing but a collection of arguments. We are the people who taught the world to embrace diversity and celebrate the difference. And yet, in the last few years, and especially in the last 12 months, we saw an unprecedented polarization and ugliness in the Jewish community. Those who think differently are considered as enemies or traitors, and those who disagree with us are demonized. We're trading a vibrant culture of debate for one of demonization and name-calling, and we're slipping into a situation in which everyone, from Jewish leaders to Jewish college students, are afraid to speak their minds. Now, the collapse of civility is not just a Jewish problem. We as Jews are like everybody else, just a little bit more so. So, before we start with this session, I just wanted to bring a little bit of the context that is driving that incivility in the US political landscape. Before I introduce the first speaker of this panel, I wanted to share with you a few slides from a study that Pew Research did in 2014. Now, what you're going to see here was done in 2014, which means that it's much worse today after the Republican primary. So, first slide. You see, in 1994, that's really 20 years ago, most of the political opinions in this country were in the center. You see the dark blue is the political opinions that both Democrats and Republicans share. What happened in 2014? The center became the lowest part of the curve. Most of the political opinions in this country are polarized. They are either belonging to the Republican Party or to the Democratic. The shared ones are disappearing. Next slide, please. Here you see the same. You can see how the center is shrinking and how it's shrinking dramatically in just 10 years. Now, it's not just that we disagree. It's we think that the other is bad. It's not that Democrats disagree with the Republicans or vice versa. A substantial percentage of the population thinks that the other party is bad for the country, is harmful. Now, this speaks about the demonization that we're seeing. And that's terrible because if you think that somebody is evil, if you demonize them, there's no compromise with them. There's no compromise with evil. There's no compromise with the Nazis, right? Now, but even when we talk about compromise, as you can see in the next slide, this is a little tricky, but take my word for it. What it means is that the definition of compromise has changed. We define compromise as you agreeing with me, right? And this sounds like a joke, but it's not. And this actually was taken during the government shutdown, where people interpreted compromise as one side being defeated. So the last slide that I'm going to show you is actually the one that scares me the most. It's the one that says that we are creating ideological silos. A lot of people, a significant percentage of our population, wants to live in neighborhood with people that share their ideological views, want to marry people that share their views, and they listen to the news that tell them what they want to hear. If you're at the right, you're going to listen to Fox News. If you're on the left, you're going to listen to MSNBC. As Rabbi Sachs brilliantly put it, we're changing broadcasting by narrowcasting. So we are like everybody else as Jews, but we should know better. And this is what this session is going to be about. It's about tackling the problem of polarization and incivility in the Jewish community, and it's critical for us to have that conversation here at JFN. First of all, because it's one of the few oases of civility where people can disagree and still respect each other, but also because it's the only place where we as funders can hold a mirror up to ourselves and see what is our role in this scenario. How are we making the problem worse, and how we can make it better. The solution is not to create desolation and call it peace. The solution is to create a safe space for our differences. So, to understand more about the general context of polarization in America, we have invited Sally Kohn. Sally is intimately familiar with the effects of polarization in her own life. She's a CNN political commentator and a columnist for the Daily Beast. Previously, she was a Fox News contributor, and Sally's writing appeared in the Washington Post, the New York Times, New York Magazine, More Magazine. I didn't know there were so many magazines in this country. Elle, USA Today, etc., etc., etc. Her work has been highlighted as one of the 100 most influential pundits on television, and she is the 35th most influential LGBT person in the media. Sally, it's really an honor to have you here. Welcome.